All right, welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody,
I'm Taylon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawinta.
and today we are covering House of M, written by Brian Michael Bendis, penciled by Oliver Copiel, inked by Tim Townsend with Rick Maguire, Scott Hanna, and John Dell. Colored by Frank D'Armata, lettered by Chris Eliopoulos, cover artist Esad Ribic, and published by Marvel Comics. So Jake, you chose this book today.
I did.
Yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about why you chose it and what it's about?
So, House of M takes place in 2000 and, or not takes place, was published in 2005?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's just where a lot of my Marvel knowledge resides, is the mid 2000s. And it turns out I've never actually sat down and read House of M, even though I've heard a lot about it. Usually not great things. But I'm like, you know what? I should know about it. Because every once in a while that pops up, like, remember that time Wanda Maximoff wiped out almost all the mutants?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, that happened in House of M. And so, might as well force you guys to read it too while I'm at it.
All right. Yeah, and so as far as like what happens, like obviously you kind of said the kind of the climactic end, but how did we get there?
How do you want me to try to summarize the whole book?
I mean, just a bit.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, there's not a whole lot that happens, to be fair. So, Wanda Maximoff is kind of nuts at the beginning of this because she killed Vision and Hawkeye, and the Avengers are disbanded.
Yeah, which
Because they're results of Avengers disassembled?
right. Well, that is the story. Avengers Disassembled is those events basically.
Yeah. She also killed Scott Lang as Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but, I mean, Vision and Hawkeye, I guess, are more important losses than... And
What?
Ant-Man.
What? Get out of here. Anyway.
It's not even Hank Pym Ant-Man.
Yeah, but it's the Ant... Never mind.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
not an important plot point.
Yeah, he's not an important plot point in this story, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's even mentioned in this.
Well, he is.
Very briefly.
That's how I know.
Oh, okay. And so, because she's kind of nuts, Scarlet Witch, that is, Magneto and Professor X have decided to sequester her to Genosha, which has been abandoned for reasons unknown.
Actually, there's
Reasons unknown to us because I haven't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, like a bunch. Well, not nukes. It was a bunch of bombs got dropped. Lots of people died.
Okay. So it's unoccupied, which makes it perfect because in going nuts, Scarlet Witch is temporarily rewriting reality.
Mm-hmm.
In that, like, she thinks she has kids, so, like, at the beginning of this, she's imagining herself going through labor to give birth to her kids who aren't real.
Yes.
And so, knowing that this is a problem, Professor X is having a harder and harder time keeping her reined in and not letting her rewrite reality.
Mm-hmm.
Calls a meeting of the X-Men and the Avengers to hold a vote / does anybody else have any ideas about brainstorm about what to do with Scarlet Witch, which is pretty interesting. Meanwhile, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch's brother, talks to Magneto. Is like, you can't just let them kill your daughter, my sister. You're a bad dad for doing this.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
to be fair, he's a classic bad dad.
He is a very poor dad. And so, kind of spoiler alert, they decide to kill Scarlet Witch.
They decide to go and ask Scarlet Witch what she thinks.
Go talk to her a little.
Wait, is that really what the plan was?
Situation.
Yeah, they were like, I can't make this decision without like talking to her first.
Okay, so
No, I
like,
thought it was to figure out another way, but
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole scene was like, they're like, so what should we do to her? And people were like, let's kill her. And the other people are like, no, not that. Something else. And then they even, like, we're talking to Xavier, and Xavier's like, I have no idea what to do. So, yeah, they were trying to gather more options by going and visiting her, because they didn't even, like, firsthand know her situation. Like, how crazy is she?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But when they show up there,
Did,
everything goes white.
yeah. Did,
Yeah, they
did,
think it was Magneto moved her, but then they can't find anybody, and then flash of white, and I guess they were transported, or just like,
I mean,
I don't know what the
I think they
verb
were
would
just-
be,
That
because
I
the
think
world
the-
does
in the world.
change.
the world was just
So-
rewritten.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
the
it's kind of
entire
like
world.
a reset, right? Most of them wake up in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically they all just have different like lives, different histories. The whole world is different. And the primary difference is that mutants are the majority and humans are the minority.
The
A little word for humans, sapiens or something.
Yeah.
is it Homo superior
Yeah. Yeah.
or
that's
are
what
now superior?
That is
Which
such a
is,
dumb
man.
scientific name.
That's poor branding. It's like, we're not trying to replace you. Yes, our name is Homo Superior, but I swear we're not saying we're better than you.
Yeah.
Big branding.
You know.
So
Go on.
yeah, they're in a new world, the Avengers and some of the X-Men, where they all have mostly their best life, or what
What they
maybe
consider their
yeah,
best.
what they perceive as their best life.
Like, this would have been the best outcome if everything had gone right.
Which doesn't sit well with Wolverine, because
Well,
he
he-
could actually remember his life,
Yeah.
which is, man, that's kind of messed up. And also some random mutant who either wasn't affected or whose mutant power was to be unaffected. It's unclear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll talk about Layla
child.
Miller.
But she also has the ability to, like, let other people realize that the world is fake. But
Pretty rude.
so it becomes a go around. We have to find the Avengers and the X-Men and let them know that the world is fake.
montage.
Yeah, montage, but also is, man, kind of messed up. Poor Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Peter Parker is so messed up over it.
That's a rough one.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, okay, we got to find Magneto, because we think Magneto did it, because he's also like a part of the House of Magnus. The House
Well,
of Magnus.
he is
House
the
of M.
patriarch of the House of Magnus.
So it seems like even though everybody got their best life, he got like a double extra good life.
Royal family of the world.
So gotta go find them. There's a bit of a dust up at the House of M House of M mansion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Castle M.
Fortress.
Wait, why isn't it
What?
just Eminem?
What do you mean? Why? What?
Mansion Magnus.
No.
Let's head
Presumably
back to the old
M&M still
M&M.
exists, like the brand. Anyway,
They are a royal brand.
Well,
They
no,
fight
they
to
just would have
either-
said Hershey's a mutant.
William Hershey, the founder of Hershey's chocolate,
Yeah. He was
is a mutant
Yep.
whose power was to make good chocolate?
I guess, yeah.
Subpar.
It's good American chocolate.
Also,
Sad standard.
I Hershey didn't even make M&Ms, and that's all that I'm gonna consider this joke any longer.
Oh, okay. I don't know who made
Here's the
M&Ms.
thing.
Wait, Marshall.
What? No, it's Mars. Is
What are you
that?
talking
Oh.
about?
Anyway,
Marshall-
Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking
Anyway.
about.
Dust up with Magneto, which is revealed that it wasn't Magneto, but Quicksilver, who convinced Wanda to change the world. Charles Xavier is dead?
we have a big rock signifying his grave, but there's no body there.
Yeah, he's missing.
I feel like that happens to him a lot.
It does.
And then Doctor Strange goes to talk directly to Wanda to be like, hey, it's messed up what you did, but please put it back. Because you're obviously not super aware of what she did.
Yeah.
And eventually, I forget, is she convinced, or does she just like put it back because she's angry at Magneto?
Yeah, basically, she's upset that the fighting happened at all, that basically the plan didn't work.
Like, Magneto had everything he wanted, and he still,
Yeah.
the fighting
You're
was still
still a
going
horrible father,
on. Yeah.
even when I gave you everything you could ever want. So I'm going to do the exact opposite to try to stop the fighting again.
Yeah. Now, I will say that Wanda comes off a little bit as like a daddy's princess, which is kind of weird.
We can discuss that later.
I don't know. It's that whole family's always just been kind of weird. Because like sometimes they're mutants, and then other times they're not mutants, and like Magneto's their real dad, or like their kind of adoptive dad. It's just like, yeah, it's not a great scenario, even without like all the other like attempted murder.
Yeah.
And so yeah, at the very end, after Scarlet Witch has put the world back, decides mutants are the problem, and says no more mutants, which reduces the like effective mutant population down to like a couple hundred.
No, I think it's like 6.
No, it looks like that on the map. It comes out later that it's like 198 active mutants.
Okay.
And the people who aren't mutants anymore are just humans. They're not like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unclear in this at the very end if it's like a physical like removal of the X gene or just like a deactivation. But I assume because there are mutants now, it's just like a forced dormancy on the X gene.
Well, I mean, I think there's probably room for interpretation because the only reason that there are mutants currently seems like it's because they were near Doctor Strange and Emma Frost, who were like protected, like psychically or magically.
Oh, like coming out of House of M, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that is the case, that could have been better. What do you say? Better presented.
Communicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the chance that that might have been Brian Michael Bendis's intention. I don't have any like exterior knowledge on it, you know, but I do know that like I read quite a bit of stuff that happened in X books after House of M, and I don't think it ever really gets explained why there is 198 mutants and why they are the ones that got spared from House of M. Just kind of like it's one of those things where it's a big universe and they didn't come up with that in the pitch meeting.
And so, yeah, that's pretty much where the book ends with like the revelation that, oh man, like situations have been dire for the X-Men before, but never quite so dire.
Yeah.
Which I believe would remain dire until Hope Summers was born.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Nice. Nice branding.
Not nice. Dumb.
Forget, was it even? I forget.
I mean,
about
if
Hope.
you are
I'm gonna
correct.
be honest.
Wait, what? What's the question?
Well, because it wasn't Scott Summers' kid, was it?
No. Actually, she is. There was, because she is a redhead who eventually inherits the Phoenix Force. It was questioned whether she was like somehow related to Jean Grey, but she is not. She is actually adopted by Cable. She was, fun fact, born in southern Alaska.
I was
Nice.
gonna say I knew it was from Alaska because there was like a whole
Nice.
thing with the X-Men had to go there and try to find her, but one of the rogues gallery of like weird like human groups against the X-Men and mutants in general got there first. It's kind of dumb. All the early taupe stuff is kind of dumb.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that is House of M in a nutshell. So what did you all enjoy about it?
Okay.
All right.
The first thing that I noticed was the newspaper that was there. It was in a different art style than the book, but I enjoyed that art style a lot. And
Did
I-
you read it?
I read
The
it, yes.
newspaper?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one that's closer to the beginning, not the one at the
No.
end. Okay. Yeah.
No. So when Logan wakes up, Wolverine wakes up, and then he escapes. Like, you see him at a newspaper stand reading it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that newspaper that he was reading, and what I appreciated about it was that there was a lot of name drops. That I was like, I like that.
You like the cameos?
Yes, indeed. Even just the
So-
mention of somebody.
Oh, like them talking about like She-Hulk and Daredevil having like a weird lawyer romance.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a thing. I didn't know about that.
I mean, it's House of M. It could be like it's a completely alternate universe.
Oh, so
They watch
that's not
secretly.
a main universe thing.
I don't know if it is, but I don't think so.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was fine with that. What else?
I was fine with it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, I can, if you want to like think of some other
Yeah.
things. I enjoyed some of like basically the latter half of the story. You know, I felt like it took some time, but eventually we got some good character moments of like really feeling distraught over the situation that they'd been put in and what to do about it. And, you know, like we kind of mentioned, like Spider-Man being like really messed up and stuff like that, because in particular, I think the subtext, context, whatever, that is that he is, well, for one, he's well liked by the public. And, you know, and people know who he is. His identity isn't a secret, and he's married to Gwen Stacy, who obviously never died.
Then the whole thing, right, with what's her face, Mary
Mary
Jane.
Jane.
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the other women there. Well, the fact that she like becomes a super popular movie star if she doesn't get with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that really hits.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, am I just holding her back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke Cage is like, oh yeah, just because you guys aren't together and she's popular doesn't mean you guys being together made her less successful.
Yeah, there's no correlation. You don't have to assume there's a correlation there, Peter.
And then Peter's just like, except we're not, and she is. So
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's
I didn't know she was an actress.
really,
actress, model.
No, she
it's-
had a job.
okay. Also, too, like, I feel like Peter should know that. I guess they don't know this at the time, but the idea is that it's everyone's dream come true. So I'm sure Mary Jane being an actress is a dream come true for her. So it was
Okay, but
kind of
that's-
altered.
Okay, but then the flip side of that is, like, even though you are with Mary Jane in your real life, your dream is still to be with Gwen Stacy, the dead girl.
See, yes, you have a point, but
Like
also
that's the flip side of of Spider-Man's like best life is that like his Uncle Ben is alive. Like
Yeah.
all the people who died in his life are still alive. Even like in his personal relations.
yeah.
It's like
No, and that's similar to Luke Cage. Like, I don't know his dream, but it seems like he's like king of the underground, and he's not with Jessica Jones.
Right.
Be specific, Jessica Jones.
oh, you didn't mean Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman?
Yeah, no, not Jessica Drew. Oh, I also noticed that the newspaper that Wolverine was reading, again, this is similar to the name drop, was the Pulse, and I think they had like a little bit of a mini series called The Pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I like that. All right.
Yeah, it's like a little like tabloid newspaper thing that the Daily Bugle puts out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, like kind of like the New York Post kind of, I think. Like that.
Gotcha.
Definitely like interesting premise overall. That's for sure. It's such a big selling point of it. I guess it's lucky that I watched the first two Doctor Strange movies recently by accident. So
I guess. Not
Yeah.
a whole lot to do with
I don't know. Like I didn't get the full depth of how crazy Wanda can go until I saw that multiverse one.
See,
So
I would have rather had, I almost said Miss Marvel. I would rather have Wanda like be crazy in the movie than just like. I mean, I guess she was a little crazy.
Yeah,
That's fair.
it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
well, what other word would you describe her as, Talon?
Well, crazy in this sense, like broken. I feel like she was more like, oh, I'm just focused on this one thing and this one thing only.
Is it correct to say that she presented a little bit more just like evil, but
Yeah.
and so it's like, not
Focused evil for an insane goal.
yeah.
Instead of this where she's just like mentally broken.
Yeah. Okay. So you'd prefer this one
Yeah.
from the book. Okay. I guess I can see how that might make her a little bit more likable. You
Yeah,
know, you can be
sympathetic.
empathetic.
Yeah.
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 I agree with you, Cody, that I think you brought it up the one scene where she's, or maybe it might have just been during the summer. We were talking about how she reacts to like Magneto's whole thing, where I thought she was just gonna be like, yeah, I did this. Isn't it cool? But her being like actually upset that she feels, used, and also that like it didn't work out how she wanted to. And there's only so much she can do. There's only so much I can change the universe to your liking, but you people are never happy. What's wrong with you people? I do enjoy that. Yeah, her kind of realistic actual motivation reaction
Yeah.
rather than just insane.
Mhm.
Like
Right. Yeah, and it did seem like, she had you could kind of like dissect the trauma a little bit, I feel like. Excuse me. Yeah, I basically like, you could kind of like, there was like a point where Doctor Strange is kind of like, well, this, and then she was like, no, like, really just in denial, basically, where it was obviously like, she couldn't really fight against what he was saying, but she was trying to anyway.
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
The
Hawkeye.
interesting part, So, was it Hawkeye's upset because he finds out that this is his best life because he's still alive?
Mm.
And we know who killed you. They're right over there. How
Yeah.
does he get in though? That
What do you mean?
always baffles me. I don't know. It's a dude who shoots arrows.
Well, he is
Get
a
into
spy.
the Avengers.
Well, no, not that. We always need somebody to shoot arrows.
Yeah.
How did he get into like? Okay, man, I'm starting
Well,
to go to things I don't get and not sure
See-
if I like.
If you think about it, though, like how the other people got in was they caused a huge diversion. So I'm sure he
Not
just
how they
utilized
got
it.
in.
What do you mean?
They got in because they had an inside person, and then like 17 psychic barriers to like protect 17 different people from being seen. Quotation marks.
No, but they still caused a diversion, though.
Yeah. I guess I thought Hawkeye
Okay.
was with them. I didn't realize
Oh
that.
no.
Okay.
No, he they had that big scene where they're like, "Where's Hawkeye?" It's like he left. I guess he's mad because he's dead, and we're gonna make him dead again. Don't worry about him. We don't need him.
Oh
And
man.
then he comes back and shoots Wanda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she literally just makes him explode.
No, that was her kid.
Because he
Oh
doesn't
well. Okay.
exist.
No, no,
Unless-
no.
That was her, but the kid's
It's
projection.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the kid even...
It was her through the kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
The kid's
And-
like an extra arm at this point.
Right. No, I see what you guys are
Major myself.
saying. I see what you're saying. I'm just saying that in my interpretation, the kid just, which is also her, was just unhappy that Hawkeye was yelling, and then so she, like, you know, the she that she perceived as she did
Gotcha.
the action.
Gotcha.
But Hawkeye doesn't even exist either, really, right? So it's just her slapping herself.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Because they do have the theory that Lila is Wanda, like Wanda created her to like bring everybody
Oh.
back.
right. Yeah.
They claim that. It's such a weird claim to me, though.
Yeah. That's fair.
No. And I think too that like I don't think that Hawkeye just is Wanda because like she has such control over reality. She can even bring Pietro back after he dies.
When
Yeah.
when did that?
It happened like right before she, you know, starts yelling at Magneto basically.
Okay.
But yeah, basically I think that she has the power to incorporate wholly separate beings. Which also that's why Hawkeye, or rather Clint Barton, is alive in the not House of M universe at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the whole. There's somebody in Avengers Mansion, and they go to check it out, and then it's like there's nobody, but there's the Hawkeye costume, and then the newspaper article stabbed with a knife. That's the
It's with an arrow, isn't it?
or with an arrow. Yeah, yeah.
Literally.
That makes
It's literally like,
So
oh,
does he become
Hawkeye's
Ronin then?
signature.
yeah, that's when he becomes
Oh.
Ronin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I forgot about that. I was just like, I guess he's alive again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even know that. Like I saw that and I was like, huh. Why is there a costume on the
Crazy.
wall?
Somebody is out there using arrows too.
Well, you know, Green Arrow has Dark Archer. I'm sure Hawkeye has somebody.
Well, yeah, it's Bullseye dressed up as Hawkeye.
Oh yeah. Wait. No, Bullseye. Nah, that's a Daredevil villain.
Well, yes, you're right. Until it's Dark Avengers, but it's during Civil War, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
For
matter.
the purposes of this.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Anyway, though, so
We saying we like.
Yes, we are. Yeah,
yeah,
we're still on that.
I like
I know,
how
but
messed
I
up
don't-
Spider-Man was
Okay.
overall.
Just like
That
the
was-
trauma, the reactions of the characters to their situation in a serious way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unfortunately, because of the large cast, I feel like we have to kind of skip over a bunch of characters where it's like, oh man, this is crazy. Okay, let's
Yeah.
fix this.
Yeah.
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 So that's why it's probably when it focuses on like Spider-Man, it's much more interesting.
And I also enjoy seeing the little bit that we got of them in their new life, like what that was like for them.
They're
Oh,
non-mutant life?
yeah.
Like before they realized that it was fake.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I think that's why the premise in general is really interesting. It's unfortunate that it has to be skipped over a little. Like, what's that whole thing with Wolverine? Where he literally like just like launches himself off the building when he first realizes everything's fake.
Yeah.
Wolverine's very dramatic.
And then
They
he's
just
on
take
like
an
a
elevator.
ledge.
Well, see, what's the quickest way to get off of a ship?
And he knows he'll be fine.
Yeah. There's also probably like, is this like a psychic thing that I can shock my body out of too?
Okay, I was interpreting as his equivalent of pinching himself.
Yeah.
Throws himself off building.
Oh yeah, adamantium skeleton. I guess you can't just pinch yourself. You gotta throw yourself off the tallest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even like Spider-Man at the end, where it's like he's one of like half a dozen people who remembers what his life was like during his alternate life. It's like,
He's not
man, at that
over
point,
it.
that's piling on. Like that's
Yeah.
does Brian Michael Bendis just not like Peter Parker?
Well, he did create Miles Morales, so yeah.
Yeah, he gets it the worst and then remembers how bad he got it. Like that's like a one two.
Yeah.
That's a combo right there.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, Wolverine, like, I feel like they could have gone a little bit more in on him. But, like, yeah, it's like both a blessing and curse to now remember his entire life. He was born in the 1800s. He's old. And
That's just crazy to think about. Like,
He is quite old.
I watched X-Men Origins and I still didn't piece that together.
They show him fighting in the Civil War. What do you mean?
I thought he was Civil War old, not 1800s old, even though they showed that.
Hold
When
on.
do you think the Civil War happened, Taylor?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, there you
Sorry, hold on. You said Civil War? I was thinking World War II.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm still not gonna let that
So you
pass.
thought he was like
Imagery is
6
too
years
different.
old?
No,
So
so
you're like, man, yeah, I get it. He's like 60, but whatever, guys.
yeah. Basically. Yeah, I just thought he was born like late enough to be an adult during the Civil War, not that he was born in the 1800s.
You mixed them up.
Dang it. World War
They're
II.
not even like they're not close.
Very
to being,
different.
Like, do you think they're flying planes in the Civil War?
Jake, no, I'm blaming you. Okay, you mentioned Civil War, all right, and then now I can't stop thinking about it. I'm thinking World War II.
Civil War.
It wasn't close to either of those events in real history.
No, Jake, I'm not confusing World War II and the Civil War. I know what those two are. I'm just making a mistake with my words.
You just thought Wolverine was like 100 years younger.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely.
Yep.
That intense to like remember, man, I'm 60. I keep saying 60, that's a little too young.
Yeah. But
Like 80 now, I think. Or
I
like
guess
Well, now,
100.
yes.
2005.
But in this case,
When
yeah, it would be 60.
2005. It was,
He would have been 80, though. Like, around there.
yeah.
Oh, like Captain America is
Yeah.
in this. Which I guess that's his best life, is just a senior citizen.
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. So they say he wasn't encased in the ice, so he was still Captain America, though, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay, he's just old now.
I guess he got to retire?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, that's interesting. In some interpretations, even without being frozen in ice, he's like old, but like not like he doesn't look as much his age because of the super soldier serum. But yeah.
You know, I just feel like they did him dirty because they were like, "Oh, hey, there's Captain America. He's old. We don't need him,"
Well,
and they just didn't do anything. They didn't even make him
They said
realize he's in.
They said
this
he's
is
not
fake.
that helpful to us.
Right.
yeah, I guess in my mind, I interpret it as like at least some of the Avengers. Maybe there was like different, cognition there, but like some of them were all like, why would we make him remember his old life? We don't even know if we can return ourselves to,
That's yeah.
He's also
That's a
so
fair
old. I
interpretation.
might just kill him.
The shock.
give him a
That's what I
heart
thought.
attack.
That's how I felt.
Um,
It's so sad. Like,
Yeah. I see it.
I guess that is kind of the equivalent of Wolverine then. Remembering everything. Except he seems kind of happy about it.
Well, yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's his dream.
I guess in a way, yeah, because it's like, he's been missing that part for so long, but there is so much trauma that, like, obviously, part of it was that people were erasing his mind to control him, and part of it was that it was a coping mechanism to forget all the stuff that he's been through.
Oh man, Peter Parker asking to forget everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that foreshadowing for One More Day?
Maybe. I guess because he does ask Doctor Strange. He does go to Doctor Strange first in that story, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, but no, that's just
It's the same, like, non-committal, like, dumb magic answer. Like,
Yeah.
no, I can't save your dying aunt.
yeah. No, I don't see how that would be foreshadowing.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Just because, like, it's not like he went to Doctor Strange. It's like, hey, help me forget. Like, he went to him to save his aunt.
Or
I think it's just a sign that Peter Parker goes to Doctor Strange a lot.
Hey, you know
It
what?
is New York. It is pretty close.
yeah. Also, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Technically, Mephisto comes to him to
Yeah.
save his aunt, but then he goes to Doctor Strange to have everybody forget who he is after he revealed his identity in Civil War. I haven't actually read those comics.
I don't
Been a
remember.
minute. But I thought that was part of the deal with Mephisto, was that
Yes.
everybody would forget.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
because them knowing who he was is what caused his aunt to die.
All right. Yeah, that gets too complicated. It definitely can't be foreshadowing.
There is, like, the theme of, like, man, Doctor Strange is, like, of vague use at any point, but definitely not if you actually just go and ask him for a favor. Like, he can't do anything for you. Like, I want to forget all this trauma. I can't help you. I want you to save my dying aunt. I can't help you. I want you to save Scarlet Witch without killing her. I don't have an answer. Like, wow, thanks, Doctor Strange. Way to go, Sorcerer Supreme.
I deal in the mystic
Can
arts,
you help?
not someone's emotions.
Technically, also, I think that he's actually just a master of the mystic arts. I'm not sure if he's Sorcerer Supreme in this, but
Can't believe I know what that means now.
There you go. Hey, actually, we're talking about this, and I realize, hey, that's another thing that I never realized that, like, No Way Home, like, there's a precedent for him going to Doctor Strange.
yeah. That's the thing.
I didn't connect
Just
that before.
Friend.
Yeah, that's what I just thought. I realized, oh yeah, he goes as Doctor Strange a lot.
Well, not a lot. I wouldn't say a lot. There's a specific comic that they were slightly
Yeah.
adapting, but not
Yes. really.
Like,
Oh my
in the
gosh!
MCU.
Wow. I don't know why I did not realize there's a lot of similarities between One More Day and No Way Home. That's weird.
All right, I can't. We'll go
That's
over this
weird.
later in off mic.
It's like,
That's weird. Wow.
I mean, it's like I was talking about earlier, that, like, mid-2000s Marvel.
Yeah.
That's where a bunch of dumb stuff happened.
Yeah, and a lot of synergy. There's a lot of
Yes, a lot of synergy. I also like that Hank Pym is a weird, like, dumb scientist who doesn't understand the implications of his own research in all universes.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, he's like a step away from creating Ultron again in this universe.
It's his dream life. He's living the dream every universe.
Just like, man, he just doesn't get it, huh? Like, you could have, it's Hank McCoy who's talking to him in
Yeah.
like the Stark Research, where it's like you could have Hank McCoy talk to him in like the best fatherly voice that you could, like all day, and he'd still have that same look that he has at the end of the sequence, where like you can tell he's gonna go to like his basement laboratory and create some horrible like mutant like neurotoxin and name it like the Ultron virus. Like, great, way to go, Hank! Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Seen Age of Ultron, so I can't comment.
Well, Hank Pym has nothing to do with Ultron in that. So
Then why are they using the same name?
Because movies hate comics. That's why. Anyway. Also, Age of Ultron, there's multiple stories with Ultron in the comics, so
Isn't that a robot?
yeah, it's a robot.
yep.
Is that it?
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
a villainous
He's a really
robot.
tough robot.
yeah, he's made out
Darn it.
of sometimes Wolverine skeleton metal, sometimes Captain America shield metal.
Basically, what he was trying to get to in Age of Ultron just never quite got there.
Yeah.
Made Vision out of it though.
Yes.
Anyway,
And all things are connected. It.
That's how I
You
like it.
just need a really strong metal, and Marvel has two choices.
yeah. Anyway, though, is that everything that we liked? I think, pretty much.
It's
Yeah.
hard to summarize it
Yeah.
because, as we'll get to it, this book's a little all over the place.
Yeah.
I also liked that pretty much everybody was, some of them didn't want to kill Wanda, and then as soon as they got the memories restored, like, oh man, I'm gonna kill whoever did this.
Thank
That
you.
was-
We'll go villainous really quickly.
Yeah.
God, was it? Who is it? Is it like Emma or something? When they wake her up and she's like, "I'm gonna kill her."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Also, Spider-Man said that
Who's
too.
she married to?
Cyclops.
Scott
Okay.
Summers.
Yeah.
There's too many guys with like red sunglasses. I was like, "Is this Daredevil?" I don't know.
I guess, yeah, it's an interesting through point. Red sunglasses.
Yeah. I mean, they are both like kind of
Blind.
functionally blind. Yeah.
Well, Cyclops can see.
Yeah.
He just can't open his eyes.
Well, I
just
mean,
hurts a lot of
Daredevil
people
can
when he
also
sees.
see. He just.
No, he has radar sense. He can't tell colors.
All right, excuse me. I think Scott Summers. Okay, Scott Summers is also colorblind because he's always looking through a red filter.
Yes, you're right.
They have the same problem. Just in,
Common. They should be friends.
Oh, and the last thing I liked was Jessica Drew having her like monologue about maybe this isn't such a bad thing, and Wolverine just off to this like, no, shut up, you're dumb. You're gonna regret you said this.
Yes, I love that part particularly. He was like, "Oh, one day you're gonna
The
look
fact that
back.
none
and,
of them like step up to like refute her. They're just like, "No, stop, quiet." She's like, "But you guys, we're so happy." I mean, it's the Matrix thing, right? Like,
yeah.
it's because it's fake. It's kind of cool, though, right?
Oh,
Who cares
But
if the
I
machine's
don't know.
eating me?
what?
I was making a
Is
reference to
it
the
bad
Matrix.
if I'm
Oh.
like, they should refute her because I'm not sure why they should stop this, other than them being like, this isn't real. Like, won't it just keep existing forever if they don't put a stop to it?
Wait,
We don't know. It
What do you
could
mean,
be
don't
like
refute
an
her?
active thing on Wanda's part, where like if she were to die, like of natural causes, say, they could just all wake up like 60 years older in real life or
I
real life.
okay, yeah. So there's on the one hand, yeah, the characters don't know that, but like in reality, that her powers do fundamentally warp reality. That she changed the world completely. So like even when she died, that would be the world would not be able to go back either.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So are you saying that they shouldn't refute her? Because refuting her
I'm
means
asking, why are we destroying this universe?
Oh, you're being Jessica Drew right now.
okay.
They did not give her a reason. They're just like, man, I got everything I wanted. This sucks.
I mean, to be fair, I side with the sentiment of it's not real, so
And
we
it
should
is
fix
real.
it.
Yeah, like I mean, I think, yeah, that's not the way that I think of it. The way that I think of it is that, basically, they're by virtue of knowing where they came from and their memories, they like it's hard to explain exactly, but in my mind it's like it's no longer what they wanted because they just got it and they didn't live their lives in a way that like like I guess it's because it's unnatural is the easiest way to explain it. Like they know what their lives were, and even with all of the hardships that involved, it's still better to have lived in that life now knowing that they had it than to live in this life where like yeah, I guess it's in a way it is that it's not real, but it's not that it's not real, it's that it's not real to
Didn't
them.
earn
Yeah.
this.
And I guess there is an argument to be made that because they remember their past life, they wouldn't be able to act in the same manner as themselves who did live in that life. And kind of
Well, that's
a
the
different way
problem
of
that
saying
they
that.
created. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of like I wish a little bit because like this is the kind of stuff that I think is entertaining is like getting into the like morality of like the science of like multiverse because I'm like, well, are they destroying this universe by having Wanda change it, or is that universe going to keep existing? Did it already always exist before she created it, or did she just put them there?
I see.
into like the things we didn't like, I guess that is one of them where it's less that I agree with Jessica and it's more that can we kind of explore this a little instead of just being like, well, duh, let's get rid of it. Like,
Yeah.
can we talk about why we're here, how we're here? Whose life are we ruining by making our lives better?
Mm-hmm.
I guess yeah, like the biggest thing for me would be like if Wanda has the power to make all your dreams come true, she then also has the power to make all your like worst dreams and nightmares come true just as easily.
But we
And she
kill
could just
her
wake up.
and
We
keep
could just
the
wake
dream
up and
universe.
also a possibility technically, I suppose. But yeah, she can't
Is
just
that
be
what Hawkeye
around.
is trying to do?
I
Is
guess-
Hawkeye trying to kill her and stay alive?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't. He never verbalizes it. It more seems like, "How dare you? I'm gonna kill you because you killed me
Yeah.
before you can kill me."
Did
again."
he got
Hey, turnabout is fair play.
he got
It's
Did he get Layla Millerized or did
No.
he really?
Oh wait, I don't think so.
I think
no.
he did.
wouldn't he just like become a corpse at that point?
No.
No, he didn't get. He didn't.
No,
she didn't like
Okay.
reveal his past
Oh.
life to him.
Oh, she can't do that because then he'd just be dead, right?
No.
No,
Have memories of being dead.
there's a
But they
specific.
just told him that he died. They
Yeah.
didn't do it to him.
But
Yeah.
the thing about, I guess, that becomes something that I don't like then is that it feels like emotionally he is referencing his, like, past as an Avenger with Wanda, because, like, there's the original Avengers, and then they all basically were all like, well, we also have, like, our own stuff to do, so we need, like, new Avengers. And so they had Captain America, Wanda, Pietro, and Hawkeye, and those were, like, the second team of Avengers, and all the, like, originals, like, went and did their own thing, and sometimes they came back. And so, like, basically they were, like, it's like growing up together, basically, And so, like, it would make more sense if Hawkeye remembered that in
Right.
his speech to her. He's all like, I would have, like, I would have killed for you. I loved you, but, like, I felt like that was a very, like, platonic I love you.
Right. Yeah.
And then, yeah. But then if he just doesn't remember that, then it's like, where's that coming from?
Fair. I think it might be plausible that she did it like off panel.
Okay.
Is that the term?
Yeah. Off screen.
So many different people, like, giving them back their memories. And then Hawkeye runs off, and they're like, eh.
Right. Well, I guess
It's
also,
sort of
like,
non-committal. But
see, he runs off, and that's right after they say, let her just remember, like, help you remember,
Yeah.
and that's when he runs off. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he would have had a chance to.
Well,
That time.
if it didn't happen, then they should have
Yeah.
had it happen or change his speech to Wanda. But
Yeah. That's
yeah, it's a little weird if he doesn't remember.
right.
yeah. Yeah. Also, I felt like in the beginning there was a lot that I just like. So for one thing, it was like a lot of setup that I didn't like. Just like getting to the point of everybody. Like, you kind of mentioned it. It's a montage. It's like, but it's a boring montage. Sorry, like it's like,
Because we don't get to focus on anybody's actual emotional.
yeah.
Wait,
They-
in the
a lot.
beginning
Well-
montage of
Well, it's more like, like the 2-quarter mark, from like after, like,
so when they get their new lives
yeah.
and
then-
before they decide to.
Basically the part where Layla Miller gets introduced, essentially. Yeah, because, and that also gets into Layla Miller. I don't know, maybe her whole deal is like extra poisoned because I know what happens with her in a later book in X Factor with Peter David. Yeah, it's bad.
I would assume murdered.
No, I'll just say it, she gets aged up and then immediately kisses multiple man.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I don't get how that's bad, but I mean, I guess aged up might be
Yeah,
a
it's
little
the,
weird.
it's the aged up
Okay.
part.
Oh, gotcha.
She was a kid.
Gotcha.
Kid, we don't need her to be a kid anymore. So now she's a woman.
Well, she looked kind of aged up actually at the end too.
No. She was still
No?
a kid.
Okay.
No, she's still a teen.
Yeah.
They have her act so weirdly. Like, some of the dialogue where, like, I can't remember what Emma is saying to her. And then Layla just responds with, well, aren't you a ray of sunshine? Calm down, 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
God.
Good old Bendis
Um,
dialogue.
Yeah, in general, just like the ensemble cast. Was it needed? I don't think so. It feels like I'm taking a trip with kindergartners. I don't know, like a school trip with other kids. Like, freaking so many people. Like, do we have so-and-so? Do we have so-and-so? Cast roundup.
Yeah.
Just, And then the fighting, like the fighting's not even interesting. Like I get that it's supposed to be, they're supposed to be distractions, so let's just start a fight in the middle of the party.
By
Which,
ramming
like,
a giant sentinel
of-
into the party.
I think they were pretty distracted by the party already, but
Not enough.
I need to see what they're helping with, like maybe some guards were closing in on Emma and Layla or whatever, and then the distraction gets them to leave. But like even during the fight part, it's just punch, 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 punch. Like I don't know if anybody's winning, I don't know if anybody's losing.
Yep.
Are we really having to work our hardest here? They're like, don't hold back.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
did you
definitely
have
one of
to?
the more meaningless final, like, climactic action scenes in a comic.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the only action scene, isn't it? Like the only fight scene other than I guess when they're going after Wolverine.
Yeah.
But even then I didn't understand who was winning or fighting in those. Some of the characters look too similar. Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's fair.
What's her name? Miss Marvel, and they have like shots where Miss Marvel is from like the head up, and then they have Emma Frost like from the head up. And they are slightly different blonde, and that is about it. And then you can kind of see a little bit of like Miss Marvel's outfit. And I'm like, oh, that's Miss Marvel talking. Okay. They literally have that scene where Miss Marvel's being invited up to this dark building, right?
Yeah.
Or wherever the Avengers are. And then the immediate next cut is Emma Frost sitting in one of the airplanes or something. And I thought it was like, wait, I thought you guys weren't supposed to fly up. So, I don't know. Just, that might be more of an art thing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's just so many characters, and I'm like, who do I care about? I don't know half these characters, so I feel like it's the opposite for me than like what Talon said, where Talon's like, I love these cameos. I'm like, cool. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's fair because like
And that's what I talked about.
like for me, like seeing those names, like I have a like image of who they are. Like they're not random people. Like if I didn't know any of these characters, then yeah, I would not find it that interesting.
Well, I can appreciate that you liked the cameos, like, oh, so and so is doing this and that. But they just really didn't need to focus so much on like, or give so much screen time to so many characters who are not going to be used properly, right? Like, we don't even get to see a cool fight from them. We don't get to hear about how they're dealing with this like memory loss, other than them being like, "Ooh, Wanda, I'll get you." So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just felt like a misuse of them then.
Yeah, and that
Even if I was a fan of that character.
and I think that sort of leads into like what I disliked, and mainly I think that this comic should have been longer, but give us more time in this new world that they're in.
More focused, and longer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I wonder, in last episode, we kind of mentioned the Absolute Carnage omnibus that had all of the tie-ins, right?
Yeah.
And I assume that there's probably a House of M omnibus. I didn't actually look into it to see, but I would assume that there's probably multiple series tie-ins with, each character that goes a little bit more into their lives and how they've changed. I'm not sure that I would actually be interested in reading that, considering how I know that these event tie-ins go. I guess it's like, it is one of those things, though, where some people, when they do the, like, what I'm thinking of is there's the, what is it? It's like a 90s story, like Age of X or something. But basically, like, they do an alternate universe, and it's like, well, everybody's completely different, so these characters aren't really the characters that I know and like, so it's like, why do I really care about them anyway? And some people are like, well, I like to see how they're different, and other people are like, I still don't care.
That's fair.
So yeah,
I'd be interested to see that for Spider-Man, especially because like he does seem to kind of have it all, and I'd like to see how, like, what they do to make that the case in like the House of M, but not in his regular life, especially with uh him having that knowledge.
Oh, okay. Like you're saying like he would know his other life?
Yeah, because like
Okay.
there's it's one of the more annoying things about Spider-Man, but like he has a habit of like keeping his identity secret because oh man, if people know, then I can't tell the people I love because that will put them in danger somehow. And B, I can't let the public know because that will put my family in danger. But then both those things are not true in the House of M universe. But he also seems fine.
Okay.
But he's still Spider-Man. It's like not like he's not Spider-Man.
Right. I see what you mean.
I kind of see what you mean. Like,
Where am I losing you?
I guess
I'll try to explain.
I guess the beginning, like, what are you saying about Spider-Man that, like, is this something that you'd be interested to see?
Yeah, like, well, because reading more about House of M, specifically like a tie-in with Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I know that like Civil War comes out like pretty close after this, and in that Tony convinces him to reveal his identity. So I mean, I could see like, you know, basically him still having like the memory from this and being like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
That's fair. Yeah. I read Civil War before this, so I guess I wouldn't have that knowledge beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Yeah, so for me, like I would have rather them expect, like, you know, give us more time in this new world, see what's going on. But then also too, that leads me to the other thing I disliked, which is their plan immediately was to attack Magneto. And they did not think about, well, hey, maybe we should like do some reconnaissance, you know, like what's going on here? There was immediately like, nah, Magneto's to blame.
Hold up, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but to be fair, how many times at this point have they all fought Magneto?
I mean, yeah,
What are they going to learn if they don't like jump in right now?
yeah. I mean, I guess to me, like similar to what I was like, my other dislike is that it would have given them, at least, you know, the writers, I guess, an excuse to have more time in this world to expand upon it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think
Band on that world building.
I think more than that, though, I kind of agree with you, Talon, just that, like, to me, like, even before the House of M universe started, everybody seemed a little bit, like rash, like, really, like, you know, gung-ho to do, like, a lot of things that I'm like, I don't associate that with you. Like, especially, like, some of them are, like, kill Scarlet Witch, you know, immediately. And I was like, I mean, I understand, like, you know, she did something, like, really bad, but I feel like generally you guys are, like, you know, like, you deal with mass murderers pretty often and don't try to kill them. Like, why are you trying to kill your friend who also killed people? Like, like, I don't know. Like, I get the argument a little bit. Like, it's not an uncommon argument for, like, essentially the death penalty. But at the same time, it seems like that should already be, like, kind of solidified for these characters. Like, they should already know how they feel about it. And yeah, and also in other parts of the story, though, like, you know, it's all like, it's definitely Magneto, and we need to go and do this now. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it does help keep the pacing up a little bit. Like, it wasn't too slow, but also, yeah, it was all over the place and things didn't always make sense. Like, we didn't really get an understanding of why characters were making certain decisions, except for, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I can kind of see, but, like, they're not really, like, telling or showing us why it makes sense. Yeah.
I think it was too inherent in the story, where it was like, yeah, like you're saying that you understand, right? We're not gonna tell you though. So
Yeah.
kind of like, I guess the choice would be to attack person we think is responsible. Let's do that now, right now.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but just like not even considering like the consequences, it's all like, yeah, we're in this like alternate world. I guess it's okay to like pretty much kill anybody. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, we're kind of,
Don't hold back,
yeah.
as they
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Like,
and to me also too, like, I feel like, because what Scott says is, I know you guys have been like holding yourselves back. Well, we're in a situation right now that you can't do that. Like, give it all you have. And I'm like, I guess I understand where you're coming from, but it still doesn't feel justified enough to be like, no holds barred. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing too, that like, it
It's
feels,
like such a. The problem is, that's the first thing he says, right? There's no like incident before that where they're like, "Oh man, we're getting beat,
right.
but we don't want to kill anybody." It's like, you need to stop holding back. He's like, "I know you guys. You don't
Yeah.
want to hold back anymore, right?"
yeah. And also it's like, I don't know, like it makes it feel like the reason that they don't hold back in their main universe is like matters of legality instead of like moral right,
Or the reason why they do hold back?
Or why they do, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's like, I would really, but I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be like.
Okay, that's like, you just made me think of the fact that they're like, we need to kill the Scarlet Witch. She killed like 3 Avengers. And they're like, but we're here. We're going to kill all the guards.
Yeah. Also, if they were like, since if I'm just going to brush that away and say, okay, fine, they're not holding anything back, you might as well make it like, whatever, like kind of like mature audience for the comic, put a little label on there and then like have Spider-Man punching some heads off. Like,
I don't know if Spider-Man.
that is his strength level.
He could if he wanted to.
Yeah. Like,
Which it seems like he wants to.
That's fair.
yeah. So,
Also, I guess too,
Destroyed
like,
that table.
Oh man, that's such a good scene. It's just like he's freaking out. Nobody else knows except for Luke Cage.
Well, Luke Cage is like, you'll just buy another table, Tony. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, honestly, Luke Cage takes this way better than he should. Like, he has no reason to take it as well as he does.
right.
He's so chill.
Yeah.
Sorry to get us off track there, but I kind of forgot how cool Luke Cage played it the whole story.
Yeah, and I still find it like, I don't know, it just makes me think of the fact, like, in the main universe, like, he and Jessica Jones about to have a
And
kid.
did he just have, like, less to lose at this point? Or...
yeah, I mean, because he's definitely worried about Jessica and what her life is like.
Calls her phone, right?
Yeah.
But she's with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, I would rather believe that wasn't the right Jessica.
No, it's
Her voice.
yeah. It's obviously the right one. It's just a like, really what it is that, circumstances play out differently, and like, you know, you can't be all like, oh well, this is like both of our happiest lives, and like, you know, that's Spider-Man's deal too. It's like you have to accept the life that you were given, and you know, and make the best of it.
You know, and I don't think that they did that, and I think that would have been more compelling reason to at least be like, no, this is why we're gonna fight.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of, I think that is a better way. I was trying to explain it earlier in the show, and I was like, I don't know how to say it this early, but yeah, like that's really what I was trying to mean, is that, yeah, it's better to make the best out of the life that you've been given than to just have, like, you know, to accept a different life that you were given, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it remains in the word you said, given, instead of, like you were saying, earned.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a better person now.
Yeah.
You know, you're working towards being a better person and making your life better through that.
Yeah.
And you still got your same old flaws. I feel like it probably would have fallen apart either way.
Right.
Because they are still the people they are.
Yeah. They didn't, Scarlet Witch didn't instantly make everybody's personal, like, trauma and the way that they react to that, like, go away.
Now, if I would believe that if they didn't remember, then they would have been fine.
No, I still think that they would have still had problems, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess, like,
Hope that
I
they'd
mean-
stay consistent with the character and actually make them ruin things on their own.
Yeah, they still
Really?
there's still like tragedy occurred in their lives. Like She-Hulk still had whatever like accident she had that required a blood transfusion from Bruce Banner to them, and Daredevil's still blind
yeah.
Yeah.
and a lawyer, but still blind.
So you mean like they'd still have flaws, just perhaps not. They wouldn't have necessarily the same personality as like.
Yeah,
their-
I guess that's what I mean. Yeah, and like also like with what Jake was saying too, there's a point where they're explaining history in this universe too, and like there's actually like a divergent point. You know, it's not like basically because Magneto was called Magneto in that universe at one point, and he, you know, and he was considered like a mutant terrorist. And then, like, but there was, like, a massive, like, he basically uncovered a government secret, and everybody was like, oh, you're right. And then it, like, worked out in his favor. So, yeah. Basically, I mean, yeah, just the fact that it is, there is a point where history was the same as the universe that they were in.
Okay.
And so... yeah, like basically not everybody is perfect. I don't think everybody can be perfectly happy in that universe.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the main... Okay, you made me remember a kind of important piece of the world building. I mean, the fact that the mutants are dominant over the human race. Like the, whatever, non-mutant humans. And... it kind of sucks for some of the non-humans,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like the one lady being beaten up or whatever, and Wolverine steps in. And so that, I mean, obviously that means I don't think Wanda gave like the best life to everybody, because I don't think
Yeah.
everybody's best life is being a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody, but so she probably focused on the people who could actually stop her, the people she knew about, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody else is living their okay lives, whereas like, oh, we get to like sit on our laurels and get our best lives.
Yeah. I think you're probably right about that. That makes sense. Yeah. Also, that reminded me of how like all over the story is in some ways. Like, we talked a little bit about like them jumping to the conclusion that like it was Magneto's fault, but also they jumped to the conclusion that Charles Xavier was used in some way to, basically read their minds to figure out, to piece together what their best lives would be, so that like, could send that information into Scarlet Witch's mind. And like, basically that's just not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Scarlet Witch was just able to do that on her own somehow.
I mean, it wasn't what happened. I thought it was still what happened.
Because it seemed like when they, flash
That's
back to basically, revealing that it was Pietro who did it, Charles Xavier doesn't come up. He's basically like,
Well, he was. She mentioned that he was in her mind, like checking up on her.
right. Yeah, okay. I guess, but that's because he was with the Avengers, about to go and, talk to her. So yeah, but I don't think that they used his power, or if they did, it was like a reverse process where she was able to like link into his head and then use his power or something. But that wasn't clear if that's what was going on.
Yeah.
And so it was just like they jumped to the conclusion that Charles Xavier was a fundamental piece of the puzzle, and then it was like, I don't know, and he never shows up again. We're just like, mystery, he's gone. Can't find him.
Gonna be continued.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be an ongoing mystery of whether he is like, can he solve this? If we find him, we don't even know where he is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
It just felt like there was a lot of red herrings that didn't need to be there. Like a red herring can be good and useful to like, have a twist in a story, but there was just too many pieces. There was like, it just feels like loose threads instead. Whereas like, oh, I guess that didn't matter. Like,
I mean, this just doesn't feel like a whole story, right? This is just the beginning of some other story that needs to be solved.
Yeah. I was thinking you were going off of like, it just seems like they made a lot of assumptions, but like for the plot.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, and also that reminds me too. Layla Miller is just a plot device, not a character.
Yeah, but also she's like a child, so like
Children are characters.
Children barely have personality. Not really.
Yeah. Also, I am forgetting who the penciler and inker are on this, but continuing the long-standing children of Avengers artists not being able to draw young children. Wanda's children do not look good. Sorry, I guess that's part of the art. My bad.
That was the point, right? Kind of creepy.
No, I'm not sure that was the point. I think they just can't draw kids. I think Cody's right.
No, I think those are little mind children, and those are fake children, and they should look unnatural.
No.
I appreciate the...
They made them twins.
That's true.
Creepiest kind of child.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, actually,
Sorry, twins.
something that we didn't mention is technically the twins existed before. The reason that Wanda goes crazy in Avengers Disassembled is because she has already had her mind messed with a little bit, because she tried, the first time that she tried to basically change reality was that she just tried to create kids that she couldn't have with Vision, because Vision is a robot. And then those kids were obviously unstable because they were like, based on her power. And so then but she basically became unstable after she, like, it was actually Janet Van Dyne's fault. She was the one that was all like, that one time you had kids, and then she was like, oops, I wasn't supposed to say that. And then, yeah, that basically puts the kernel in her mind that expands until, yeah, and then she gets really angry at the Avengers for deleting her kids.
Just make some robot kids. This is really dumb. You
Just
have a
ask
robot
Tony Stark
husband.
to like throw together some robot kids, or
Have a robot husband. He was made. Make some robot kids. God.
Good point.
well, yeah,
But then there would have been kids forever.
And just upload their
That's
conscious
true.
into a new body that's a little bit
Yeah.
adolescent body. And then
Vision
adult.
is gonna just stay that way while
No,
she
no,
gets
no.
old.
No. What she should have done is made Vision a human being. There you go.
I'm sure that happens at some point.
Um,
Sometimes.
I don't necessarily know
Maybe.
if this is
Didn't they even just? Isn't that technically just like WandaVision? I guess she didn't make him human.
No. He stays a robot the whole time.
yeah.
He looks human.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
do
fair.
make him look human. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if this is something I dislike. I noticed it. That Wanda seems like a daddy's little princess. You know, in the story.
I mean,
You
well,
have to expand on what you mean.
yeah.
Like to me, she's like. I mean, I guess to the word usage of daddy. Maybe that's.
Oh yeah, where she's like, "Daddy, Daddy
Yeah.
this, Daddy that."
Okay,
When
yeah.
she's
okay.
having like a sad breakdown, it's like, God.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
So not daddy's princess in the sense of like Magneto acts that way towards her, but like she looks at him that way.
right.
They do kind of act weirdly with her when she's part of the royal family, where it's like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's like the black sheep because she's a human.
Well, it's not that she's the black sheep, but it's like she has to be extra protected because she's a human. She can't protect herself.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is
So weird.
that's interesting that in her world she's not a mutant, or like her dream world, she's got her kids, but
I
Yeah.
no
mean,
mutant powers.
but
I mean,
she
she does
is
still
a
have
mutant.
her powers.
She's. I think more of the thing is that she can't tell anybody. Because what do you tell people? My child has world-altering powers. By the way.
I guess yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing they toy with. It's like nobody really knows what, like outside of the Avengers, what the deal with Scarlet Witch is, because we can't just tell everybody that an Avenger killed some other Avengers and then messed with the world and could do that again because we don't know where she is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I mean, you may know the answer to this question, but she says no more mutants. She's a mutant, right?
Yeah.
So does she not have powers now?
I don't actually know where Scarlet Witch goes after this.
Okay, no, they show at the very end, right? They
Right.
show her in the little
In the-
hoodie,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
whatever,
Okay,
Red
so
Riding
yeah,
Hood thing.
she it goes to Europe, I guess.
But yeah.
I don't know where
Most
her
of them wear cloaks.
I don't know where her story goes after
Gotcha.
this exactly.
Mhm.
But yeah, she is alive. I'm pretty sure she's still magic.
Okay.
One thing she can't cure is herself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doesn't want to either. Like, I mean, yeah, she's in full denial mode where she believes that it's everybody else's fault for her problems. So, yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's something else that I was going to say, but yeah. It's just a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, I think that's its main problem. Like, it has a lot of interesting things that could be explored. It only explores some of them, and when it does, it doesn't seem to fully be willing to explain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, you get it, right?
Oh yeah, and I guess like this is a pretty small point, I guess, but like what I was going to say was it seems like the whole like turning herself like ideally into a mutant might also be her like internalized mutant phobia. Like,
Oh. You mean turning yourself into a human?
right, yeah. You know, that's like, you know, she basically like goes full into that when she says no more mutants. She's all like, mutants are the problem. I'm like, geez, Scarlet Witch, like kind of a bigoted statement there.
Isn't that supposed to go back to the fact that she's talking to Magneto, her dad, and she's like, well, she's talking about how, you know, he never cared about her and her the rest of the siblings. How he always cared about the mutant cause overall, and like as he's talking to Xavier in like the beginning of the story, he's like, I was willing to sacrifice everything for my cause, including my children, because my cause was more important to me. So she's always felt herself valued less than mutants overall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Bad Father of the Year.
I don't think Magneto was ever in the running for Father of the Year. I'm gonna be honest.
No.
That's why he won Bad Father of the Year.
Yeah, probably up there.
Gunning for it.
Yeah.
Like him, Norman Osborn, Doctor Doom.
I guess Magneto does confirm our whole thing about how you've been given everything, but you still managed to mess it up, huh? Because you're the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I don't know enough about Doctor Doom or whatever. So, like, why is he there? Isn't he evil?
Also, I didn't realize he had children.
I don't think
Might be thinking of something else.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's there because he still like governs Latveria.
Yeah.
Like in a bad way,
you mean
right?
in the story? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant on the list.
He's just like, they're just like in one of our most greatest allies. You know, to like the royal family of the world. And
Well,
like,
no, I don't even think they were
And
allies.
Namor's there, just like a thing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it,
a Met Gala.
yeah, it is basically like, yeah, he is normally in the main universe a bad guy, but also it depends on who's writing, but he is a leader of a whole country, and he sometimes it's like he's like a very oppressive dictator, and sometimes it's like actually his country is like really great, and you know.
Only you would stop experimenting on humans.
Yeah. But yeah. So we've kind of like, you know, talked a little bit about it, but I guess how did everybody feel about the art?
Standard.
The art was pretty good. You know, those ensemble scenes really tested the limits of composition. My.
Yeah.
But so yeah, where there's like only like two characters talking, like Xavier and Magneto talking at the beginning, or Pietro and Magneto talking. Those scenes look really nice. Like there's really strong lighting. Like when Pietro is convincing Wanda to, you know, well, not ruin everything, but just to change the world, rewrite everything. That's like kind of terrifying, and I love the use of the shadows in that scene. So there's some scenes where it really is cool, but for the most part it's pretty standard because they're just trying to move the story along, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like I said, I couldn't tell characters sometimes.
I will say I did notice sometimes faces just seem really weird to me. And I'm thinking of a panel in particular where I think they basically tell Lila like she's integral to their plan, and she's like, "What, me?" And they do the whole like, I don't know, like her arms moving really fast and her face going like, and her chin is in her like chest or something.
Yeah.
Or where they give her like 4 arms because
Yeah.
she's supposed to be moving really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very interesting choice, for sure.
Yeah, I felt
Not
like
super effective.
sometimes also like not that it was necessarily bad, but some of the art style was not for me. You know, it was like there was like I'm thinking of kind of the way that Magneto was drawn, and like, you know, he just seemed like kind of like, I don't know, like,
Do you mean like before and after everything was
yeah,
messed up?
I mean, I think in general, you know, it was just, it's kind of that like 2005 house style of like being a little bit more like bubbled, you know, like softer, like rounder edges on things a little bit instead of sharper.
Okay.
And also like I felt like the faces were a little bit like, I don't know, like sometimes they were too like small on the face, and sometimes like they were just like the proportions were wrong to me. But yeah, and I think that other than that though, everything was all right. The inks were maybe a little bit heavy, but I, like you said, Shuenta, like, you know, that did add to some like dynamic lighting sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, the art was fine. It was very mid 2000s, but man, I did not remember mid 2000s comic art being this like male gaze heavy. Because there are a couple scenes where I'm like, wow, this is like, I understand
Okay.
like it's always been the kind of the joke about like comic readers, but like, oh man, they made it pretty easy to make that joke.
Right. Yeah. I don't think I'm surprised I didn't notice that as heavily.
No, I didn't either.
Like there's one scene at like the very end, and it's just like She-Hulk is barely in this, but then like in one of the fight scenes, she's just like twisting and contorting so you can see her chest as she's about to punch somebody. It's like, come on, guys, like try to hide it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm pretty bad about spotting the contortionism that for that purpose sometimes, like unless I'm looking for it. But I'm not very good at anatomy, so yeah. But that is valid.
Honestly, I mean, for me, it's just like, oh, that's a woman. Okay.
I feel like I understand what you mean, but like also the phrasing is just broken. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just like when you, especially when it's like in a splash where it's like, oh man, there's Daredevil fighting in his suit, and Wolverine is also in like most of a suit, and it's like weird. All the female characters are like in broad panty. It's just weird, odd how that works.
They zipped that top up. What was she doing?
It's just like, especially like in comparison, that's like it's an action scene. Everybody's like about to start fighting, and it's like it's supposed to be a big splash. It's just like, man, seeing them side by side like that, like it's the artist had to know.
Yeah.
Like it, they must have known. Had to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally impossible not to. Yeah.
Oh, and then there's the scene with like Aurora getting dressed.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, what dress am I gonna wear? And it's just
the
like,
dress is
how does
barely
that
on.
dress attach?
Right. Okay. Now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
I am not a tailor, but I don't think that would work.
You can do it.
Well, it's just really
But also,
tight.
I love that that's like her pivotal scene.
Oh, you can't
is her
see that.
being like, is it this dress or maybe not this dress?
Yeah, that is another, like, Storm is, like, such a good character, and they're all like, just make her, like, royalty, I guess, and, like, you know, give her a scene where she's picking out a dress. Like, I don't know.
Only scene she gets, right?
Yeah, pretty much, like, you know, the only one...
Well, to be fair, she walks into the
I
party.
thought she was gonna come out like with. I thought she was gonna be more pivotal. Like she'd have some sort of conversation. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was building up to something.
Yeah. No, she's
Never
just
is.
all like, "Why are you doing this?" when they're attacking.
Also, how this is a tangent, I guess, but like, how often is she depicted as like Queen of Africa?
Kenya,
Kenya.
not the whole continent.
Even Wakanda has to bow to her.
Yeah.
She basically so she is from Kenya. She was born in the United States initially, but she moved. Her family moved there, and then her parents die. She's on the streets as a beggar and thief. She gets trained as a master thief, and then she, after her powers manifest, she makes a pilgrimage to the desert and basically gets worshipped as a god. And then Charles Xavier comes and asks her to join his team, which always a surprise. You're all like, godhood or join the superhero team? I wonder which one I want to choose. But that's a tangent. Anyway, yeah, so I guess like if Charles Xavier had never come to her, I could see a natural progression of it being like, well, I know I'm not a god, and like I still have like,
Just royalty.
morals enough to be all like not to like trick these people into thinking that I'm a god. But yeah, like if they want to if they want me to be a leader, which she is a good leader. She leads the X-Men, so
So it's just in this House of M.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
She never puts those master thief skills to use, huh?
She does in her super heroics, just not in this story.
I don't know. I've never seen an iteration. I haven't seen that many iterations of Storm, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought she just stormed stuff.
No, she does. There's actually a pretty cool. This is a pretty big tangent, but I'll try to keep it. But like, there's a story where, because one of her big weaknesses is that she has like pretty bad claustrophobia, because that's like where her parents died, was basically a building fell on them and they fell on her, but she was, just trapped. And so like her and the X-Men are all like basically like super confined in these like, like basically just like shackled to a chair and can't get out and have like power suppressing collars on. But she uses the lockpicks that she keeps in her hair, and she has to like use her teeth basically. And yeah, it's like very high stress. And I think she actually just barely doesn't get it, but then she gets another opportunity. So yeah, she uses them sometimes.
Watson on Storm.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have to go. Do you mind if we hit the outro?
Yeah. Do you want to do a quick little cycle of like, is there even more to read, I guess? Never mind. I don't think we can do that part.
Yeah, I don't
Read
think so.
more?
More Brian Michael Bendis does Marvel, but I mean,
Yeah.
and
Are you
there's
telling
other
me they
like
don't have a continuation of like how they deal with this mutant
Oh,
less world?
I guess that, no, they do. So yeah, would you read the X-Men, the 198 / whatever else they call it? There's another subtitle for it, but
No.
no.
I would be willing to
Yeah.
read
I
the
could.
tie-ins to this.
I would. I don't know why, but I would. I just want to see where this weird mess goes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how the X-Men go from here. So I'll say it's worth it. I have read it, so I'm kind of...
Oh, you're already there.
Yeah, I'm already there.
I guess the only story that I read that is a continuation, in a sense, of House of M is Miss Marvel. But that only has anything to do with House of M because she's like, I know who I was in House of M,
Okay.
and I was amazing. I want to be
Gotcha.
like that. And that's her whole motivation, at least in the beginning.
Right. Okay. Well, that is all the time that we have. Thank you for listening. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Shawenta.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, as it helps us out in the YouTube algorithms and helping us being seen by more and more people. And be sure to hit the bell notification so that you won't miss a single video. And if you're listening to us on podcast format, be sure to rate and review our podcast, as that also helps us out in the algorithms and being seen by more and more people. Thank you, and have a blessed day.